Alright guys, welcome to episode 6 of The Strain, the episode called Occultation. And this was one that was fairly action-packed compared to the other ones. No, that's a lie.
Eclipse. The eclipse happened, meaning all the little vampires in the sewer now have extra time.
It hasn't happened yet. It's happening. So a lot of shit is going down. As the eclipse is approaching, Eph decides that he wants to warn his wife and son to get the hell out of town. He pops in the house after the FBI come by and are like, "Hey ma'am, have you seen your ex-husband?" And she's like, "No, I haven't." And they're like, "Well, let us know." And they walk away. And then in comes Eph through the back door and he's like, "Okay, you have to get out of here. Like, please, like, just whatever.
Go to Vermont. Go visit your mother.
Like, I don't care what you do. Get out of the city. Like, this is not about me. I am freaking scared. Get out." And she's like, "I don't know, Eph." And then in comes her boyfriend who's like, "What are you doing here? Get out. Blah, 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 blah." And 5 seconds later, guess who shows up at the door but the FBI?
Because he called.
And she gets rightly pissed. Like, that's just not something you do. Like, it's none of his business in a way. If Nora wants to have it out with her ex-husband, he's not getting, like, violent or anything, but he's like, just like, you know, let them have it out. But no, he calls the cops because he has to, like, assert
his manhood.
Yeah.
Like, later on in the show, Nora's talking to her friend, and her friend's just like, "You think he like, is doing the extension on the house just for, like, fun?" He's like, laying claim!
He's marking his territory, which is so funny. But, and then boyfriend Matt's like, "No, baby, I did it to protect you." And she's like, "No, you didn't.
I can protect my damn self.
Like,
Thank you.
I was clearly in no danger, and I can handle myself. Like, just, I'm done with you right now. We might be done forever." And you're just like, good moment.
They've definitely developed her character a lot more than in the book.
Oh yeah, because she was kind of just there as a placeholder. Yeah. So that was actually really great to see. I really enjoyed that whole bit. And I don't know, was he trying to, like, impress her, or is he actually that person?
I think he genuinely cared enough to go and do that. I'm talking about Eph. No. I don't know. I think the boyfriend cared, but I think it's definitely more along the lines of, "I'm a macho man who can look after you, babe," kind of deal.
Yeah, I think he generally does care for other people, though, because then you have the scene later where he's at work and the guy comes in after he's been attacked by vampires and he goes and confronts him and you're like, "Well,
you're done.
Bye, guy.
Nice
to see you."
I think that...
But I think he definitely did that to stick it.
Yeah, because I think Eph is still present in that household because clearly the wife still loves him. The son, Zach, is still, like, loves his father, and so this guy is trying to, like, step in and be like, "Look at me, I'm more adequate, I can take care of you, I'm here for you." But Eph has, like, left such a big empty place that he just
doesn't know how to fill it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And anyways, it was a good scene. What else did we have?
Oh, Satrakan, you fool.
Oh, poor old man. He decides that he needs to clear out some more vampires, so he goes to... it wasn't anybody's real...
It was just another one of the plane victims, and he goes into the house, and it's been some kind of wake or, like, funeral thing, and so he looks, and there's, like, lots of food everywhere, and lots of scattered wine glasses, and so it's basically alluding that there are going to be a lot of vampires in that basement, and maybe you should, like, back off, because you're a 90-year-old man, like...
With a sword.
With a sword. You're not going to be able to do it, and... he just goes into the basement.
And lo and behold, at that exact moment, he decides to have a heart attack or, like, angina attack or something. And he nearly gets eaten.
Yeah.
He drops his bottle of pills and barely makes it upstairs to the sunlight.
I have to hand it to him, though. He's smart in the fact that he goes during the daytime. So basically, he barely makes it upstairs, and he just has to settle with turning the gas stove on and sticking a candle on top and scuttling out before the house blows up.
Yeah, I don't see why that's not their system.
It makes so much sense.
Like, literally, just like, I don't know, go back to the Stone Age, stick a dynamite in the house. I don't know.
And then just wait, and when the vampires come screaming out, you just finish them off.
Yeah.
Simple. That would, like, yeah, that's how I do it.
Yeah, like, why are we messing around with all this
Clearly,
crap?
we are at the point where, like, you don't need to be quiet about this anymore.
Just avoid the police.
But, okay, so back to Vasily. Vasily goes to his office and he walks in and all the phones are ringing. And he's just like, because he is smart, he's just like, okay, there's something clearly wrong here. But I'm going to just open up this really dark closet and see what's going on inside. And his boss, his vamped up boss is there. And so we definitely see the sunlight action again because he's just like, crap, what'd I do? Oh, wait. When I went up into the sun from up, they didn't follow me. Open up all the windows.
And lo and behold, his boss torches like a hay bale.
And he just kind of stands there just like, wow, this is quite fascinating.
Look at that.
Look at this happen.
And then, so he's wandering around and...
He finds the secretary he's been flirting with, and, like, you definitely see he has that kind of, like, no-nonsense streak, because he kind of looks down at her, and it's kind of alluded that she's not fully transformed, and it just, like, he just opens the window. Like, there's, like, a moment just, like, huh.
And they even do something to, like, build sympathy beforehand, I noticed, too, because he, like, sees her phone on the desk, and he like, picks it up, and he's like, oh, I didn't know she has a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Puts it down, and then like 5 minutes later he's like torching her with the sunlight. So very no nonsense. It was interesting that they did that too, because you're like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Because now there's just a parentless baby.
And I guess it kind of alludes that he's going to be willing to do whatever needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of happens
Later
on in episode 8, which you haven't seen yet. So it's just like, I love him. I love him because he makes stupid decisions. Everyone in this show makes stupid decisions because they need the plot. This is the only way the plot is going to move forward. But out of everyone's stupid decisions,
he makes the least.
He makes the least. Him and Abe are clearly like, okay, we know what we gotta do. We're gonna do this. Yeah,
I agree with that.
And I think, like, Vasily's, like, learning curve is pretty, like, I got this.
Yeah. This is, show me once and moving on. Poor Gus and...
Yeah. His buddy.
Yeah. They're walking down the street.
Well, first they have to do the job for the German Nazi vampire.
And the German Nazi vampire is like, come on, you need to do this job for me. And Gus is like, no, I'm done. And the German Nazi vampire finally has to get rough with them.
Like, he's always so cool. Like, he's always just so smiley and cool. And you're just like, he's just a funny old man. He's not going to do anything. And then he, like, throws him across the fucking room. Just like...
You're just like...
And they definitely... One of my favorite parts of that scene is, like, Gus tries to wail on him. And I was having flashbacks to the scene in Star Trek with Kirk and Khan in Into Darkness when Kirk is like wailing on Khan and Khan's just kind of like taking it, and so the German Nazi vampire is just kind of taking it, and he gets his face, and just like the makeup smears, and it's just like, what are you, man?
And that's when the German Nazi's like, my turn.
Poof. And so they have to move a body, and it's Captain Redford's body.
And they get our good friend Jim to help with the buddy. So they meet up and they kind of deal with their crap.
And this was kind of crazy because this like scene happened like an hour ago. And so watching this episode, I was just like, that's near where I used to live.
I've been through there for work. Holy crap. And then, so anyways, Gus and our friend are walking down the street, and out pops the old coroner, who's now having free reign of the city. They end up subduing him with a baseball bat, but his friend
gets splattered with the worms, and
and they almost are about to pull out the worm and maybe save his friend, when all of a sudden up come the police. Like,
I love guys. She's like, oh no, you show up.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm used to the vampires now. I can deal with the vampires. I've finally like hit the point where I am comfortable with them. They're scary, but I'm used to them. I'm like, okay, this is like, okay, we're good. I'm fine. But the moment you have those little freaking worms crawling in through people's skin, I'm right back to uncomfortable.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you there. Like, the jump scares still get me, but
I guess it's the whole like invading body thing, and just like,
it's just a stupid way to go.
Yeah.
Like, it's like in 28 Days Later when the guy gets turned into a rage monster because that drop falls from a zombie way up there into his eye, and you're like, what is that? Like, it's just, you could escape the blood draining vampires and still, I don't know, put your hand on a wall with a worm and out you go. That's it.
They kind of, like, I remember them talking about that, either, was it in Feed, or it might have been the Random John Green zombie novel, where it's like how in those zombie apocalypses people would go out and they'd have swords and they'd be like all crazy and like doing stuff, and then they'd go home and they'd accidentally nick themselves on their zombie blooded blade when they were cleaning it, and bam, amplification.
Yeah, it's just messy blood everywhere, right? Like, not helpful when it's an infection-based zombie apocalypse.
Like, infection-based monsters are like
the worst.
They make me so uncomfortable because there's that weird thing in the back of my brain that's like, this is possible. And they're really, really trying in this strain to be like, we are going to scientifically justify vampires.
They're about as scientifically justifiable as zombies.
Yeah.
Like, especially when you take Scott Westerfield, just go read him.
You know now that this guy's infected. And because it's just like one worm, you don't know how long it's going to take. Like, how long is it's going to...
I don't know. They've never really given us a timeline on how long it takes anyone to turn into a vampire.
And I remember when I was reading the book, and I read this book years upon years ago, that this is where I really started to feel uncomfortable, because they're locked in a little room.
Oh, yeah.
And he's infected. And you know that he's gonna eventually just like turn to whoever's sitting next to him and just start eating him. But nobody else knows. And like Gus is just like, are you okay, buddy? Are you gonna be fine?
You're like,
and you go, no, back it
away.
Up. Back it up. So, yeah. It's kind of like a situational based, like, wherever you are. Like, if you're stuck on a subway car with somebody who's infected, you're done, right? Mm-hmm. Like, there is nothing you can do about where you're caught. Well, this whole, like, story definitely deals with, like, being trapped. Mm-hmm. Because if you look at the very beginning, the plane, everybody on the plane was trapped with the master. The subway car, the, like, jail cell, the truck, and even you could even look at Manhattan.
Yeah, you're trapped. Yeah.
So it's like building these cages. Ugh.
Anyway, is that everything in the episode?
I think. Oh, Nora. So Nora's moving around with her mom, and also F. Nora's moving around with her mom, and she's like, oh crap, where are we going to go? What are we going to do? And she eventually decides that she should find Strachan because she's at home with her mother, and the FBI come looking for her.
And she's like, nope.
And she's just like, they're trying to, like, cover this.
We need out. And so she's finally accepted that there's only one thing you can do at this point, and that is what Abe has been telling them all along. F gets interrogated by the FBI, and they do not believe anything he's told them, until finally he's like, okay, I will show you where the bodies are. All right.
And so they're driving him away, and there's a crazy guy running down the street, and I'm just like, oh, hell no. Because eclipse. So sun is covered. Vampires can now all come out of all their little hidey holes and start chowing down on the populace.
And the FBI agents are like, oh my god, that guy's attacking that woman. Let me go help. And F is like, don't do it.
Don't do it.
And he does it. The FBI agents both perish just like he told them they would. And Eph is finally free to
go and join Satrakan and Nora
in the basement.
And Satrakan is just like, "You're ready now." And I'm just like,
no, he's not.
We were ready 3 episodes ago, guys.
He's still not ready. He's still gonna cause shit.
So yes, definitely, it's nice to see the stakes are like legitimately raised, because no longer is this something that can really be hidden. Like, cell phones are down, and internet is down, so the truth of what's happening on the island is not going to be able to get out. And I think Eldritch has other things going on to like cover up.
Yeah.
Like, so people are focusing on like the market crash instead of the fact that there are funny little like blood-covered stinger guys running around New York. Like, they're not, at this point of the game, they are no longer hiding.
You couldn't hide them if you tried, okay?
Like, it's just obvious. It's just like, if you were to walk out onto the street in New York City at night, you would probably see like 4 or 5 of them just like,
shambling around.
I want dinner. Oh, look, a person.
Yeah. So anyways, we will wrap this one up and we will get on to the next episode. So see you guys in 5 minutes. Alright, bye guys.